good. It's nice to see you.
It is nice to see you. So I want to preface everything because this is the first inaugural
I think that's the
episode.
right word.
And you have episodes of LinkedIn Lives, I guess. I don't know. And it's called we're doing Asking for a Friend. And the whole premise of this is, yes, there are a lot of industry talks out there that's like theories, learning, micro things, AI. And that's really helpful and good. And I watch those because I'm not really, like no, I'm knowledgeable, but I like to hear what other people think about stuff so I can learn more from them. But I found that what was missing for me as a lonely little person who works from home, who doesn't really know anybody in my area, is that I'm always interested in learning how other people's lives work, like on the day-to-day working in this industry. And that could mean everything from, do you put your dogs in doggy daycare, to do you ever work from a coffee shop, to how do you manage like the stress of working but also having a life, and the types of projects that you do, and blah 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 blah. Does that sound good so far?
I'm tracking. I'm
Yeah.
tracking.
Okay, that's all that matters. And so you're my first guest, and I'm gonna pretend I know how to pronounce your name. I have a strong guess.
Okay. Hang
Okay.
on 1 second though for me.
Okay.
Nobody seems to see us, but we are talking. Is there a
Nobody.
different link for us to use?
Hmm. That's weird because my husband's in there.
Oh, okay, great. Well, then user error on the people that
Okay.
are chatting.
Either way, it's so weird. And I see us. Oh, Darcy Rice says, I see you. So some
Hi.
people,
Hi,
maybe they need to,
Darcy.
they need to refresh. Um, yeah, this is fun. This is all gonna be, you're like the loveliest guinea pig, the most colorful shirted guinea pig ever.
Well, I'm here in it for the long haul because I want you to pick me as a friend by the end of our time together. So whatever it takes.
That's what I was gonna
Yeah.
say. You're my first
Yeah.
guest, and your name is Amanda DeVloot.
Okay. You
DeVloot.
are you are so close.
What is
So
it?
it is, well, so here in America, uh, most people pronounce it defluct. So the
DeVloot.
V sounds like an F.
Okay.
It's Dutch, and if you're Dutch, you speak Dutch, and I'm probably even going to butcher my own last name. It's pronounced de vlucht, and it's
Oh, I
to
got it
take
so wrong.
flight. You're so close. So close.
I'm sorry. Well, you're here because we met in real life at a conference, and I was like, maybe this person should be my friend, but I don't know. I have some criteria. And that actually sparked this whole idea of asking for a friend because I desperately need them because I only see my dog and my kids, like, and my husband normally. And we live in the same place, or live in the same state. So I thought this would be a good intro episode. And by the end of what we're going to talk about here, I'm going to be live scoring you on a rubric of friendship to see if we can continue this relationship.
Okay. I'm nervous, but I feel like I think I might pass the test.
I mean,
I'm confident.
I wouldn't get too cocky there. You never know. You never know.
Yeah.
Just kidding, just kidding. I wouldn't, you wouldn't want to be friends with someone who's mean, and I'm not mean. Um, but also for context, and this can affect the scoring of the rubric or the final decision, I want to learn more about you and what you do and your life and all those things. So, my first question really is, in your own words, tell us about you and what you do.
Oh, how much time do we have? Well, what I do and professionally and then personally is uh, very different sort of worlds, where I have a cool job. I work for a company called Corporate Visions, and we have sort of a subdivision of the company. It's called Emblaze, and it's a revenue leader community designed to give leader of leaders in the B2B space, sales leaders, revenue leaders, a platform where they can learn from one another. uh, we are all science backed in all of our research that we do. And so leaders have access to that. And then we also have this other arm of our community where, hey, you're a senior leader and you want to get inside your buyer's brain to understand what makes them tick, why they make those decisions. We give those, we have that as part of our community as well. I don't do any of that stuff. My role really is to make sure our members have the best experience. They're getting value and they're using it to help them drive revenue, et cetera, et cetera. I'll be honest with you though, my background is none of that. So I started my career a long time ago in the hotel business. So actually, you know what? Most people don't know this, but my first job ever in the hotel business, there's an iconic hotel down in Florida called the Boca Raton Beach Resort. I don't, have you ever been? It's the big, tall, pink building in Boca.
No,
Okay.
no.
If you're only like 3 hours away, it's if you ever feel like being stressed out by traffic and going down to South Florida, do it and then go see the hotel because it's really awesome. My dad used to work there a long time ago. He was in the hotel business, and I learned quickly that if I stood in the elevator of said tall tower and pushed the buttons for people that needed to go upstairs, those kind, very wealthy people, they would give sweet little Amanda a quarter or a dollar here. So that's, I always like to say the joke, that was my first hospitality job and it never left me. So yeah. Um,
Is that, but that's adorable and also very, I mean, also very capitalistic, but in a good way, you know?
well, and so for the record, I was not on the payroll. So I did not pay said taxes on any of those quarters I
Entrepreneur.
received. Entrepreneur, yes. I was a 1099 at age 8. Um, and that's what sort of like put me into the hotel world. Loved people. Got a degree in business, but only because that's kind of what you do when you just don't know what you're gonna do. Uh, and I guess I was pretty good at running hotels. I was got a chance to just live and travel all over. I'm telling you this very long story about who I am or what
Go
I
on, keep
do.
going. This helps me. This provides context for the rubric later, okay?
Yeah, thank you. Phew. Well, what I learned in all of that, those times, and I ended up moving it to Hilton Corporate, and that was a whole lot of fun. Is that it wasn't none of what I had done in the past, or really even if I think about like today and what I do has never been about like the job in itself. It's always been for me about watching people grow, whatever role they're in, and that whole learning and development side. And I wish I would have figured that out when I was 20, but it took me a while. And so when I worked for Hilton, my last sort of 4 years with them was working at Hilton University. So really diving into learning and development. And up until that point, I was just, you just kind of learn ad hoc, like, oh, this seems like it seems to work. We'll just apply to this next project, et cetera, et cetera. I didn't realize until I started working for Hilton University that learning and development is a thing. And there's so much to it, and so that is where really the last, I would say, 7 8 years I have spent my time immersed in the L&D space, because it's the absolute like handed thing that fuels my soul. um well, that and getting upgraded to first class if I'm on a flight, but either one of those.
That has never happened to me. Give me tips. You heard, okay, side note, you said you're an ambassador. What is that, of international travel ambassador?
Okay, so thank you so much for asking. So, no, at the Tampa International Airport, which, by the way, they have just won the JD Power Award the third time for customer service. So,
Yeah.
I love that. Um, no, I'm an ambassador for them. So, if you've ever gone to an airport and you see that that person that sits in the circle, and you have a question about the airport or the city, you're talking to one of the 200 volunteers at the Tampa International Airport that will gladly greet
Here?
you. Yeah.
That's volunteer? Oh my, to deal with
Yes.
people at an airport? Are you like the most saintly person?
That is not one thing that somebody has used to describe me, but I genuinely love I genuinely love the airport. It's true.
I
And
understand.
I love talking to people and giving them a chance. They're so excited. They just got off a flight and they want to learn something about Tampa. Now, admittedly, I don't know much about Tampa, so they get just a very small like snippet of the
Well, my
Tampa.
house is here, and if you turn right here, you could get to my house, and then we can have a conversation.
Exactly. Let me tell you where Pollo Tropical is. You've never been to Florida? It's a Florida staple. Anyway, so I don't know if that answers the question about what I do, but that's what I do and sort of the journey and how I've gotten where I'm at.
And you are also on the board for ATD Central Florida, which
Mm.
is exciting. And that's why we met, right? Because through them, were you volunteering, or did you just volunteer and you happen to be very important in ATD Central Florida? You
All of those things. No, so yes, I am very lucky to be a part of the board for the ATD Central Florida chapter. That particular chapter, they've been around for 50 plus years and have been so instrumental in especially Central Florida and beyond, like just from the L&D professional networking space. And we have a few partnerships with companies, specifically the Learning Guild. And they do quite a few industry conferences in Orlando. And part of our partnership with them is that not just board members, but any of our members for the ATD chapter, you have a chance to volunteer. So you give back. And in exchange, you get a chance to listen in and observe or walk around the expo hall and meet some cool people that have, they're doing some great work. So it's very exciting that this chapter has uh, that partnership along with quite a few others. So that's how we met.
Yeah, and you get to meet
Yeah.
cool people who may or may not have a punchable dinosaur at their booth. Was that us or was it Elvis? When did we meet because of, did we have our bar set up or was it Elvis?
You all, and I have been to a lot of conferences, and I may or may not be known to love swag. And you may or may not receive swag if you become my friend at the end of all this, because I love giving away swag, but mostly because I
Bribing
have
me?
bribing you. Oh, I think that is such a strong word. I think it's more like reinforcing
Hmm.
what I already know will be true.
Tell
Is
me
this
more about your
friendship,
bribing
this
strategy.
friendship, this well, so let's see what you got. What you got? Well, here, you always need a nice Hampton by Hilton baggie for your
I
pencils.
do actually. So this is also probably why we connect is I love hotels. There's nothing I love more than hotels. And my to the point where my daughter has unrealistic expectations about life because when we were it was like, COVID-y times, but also the end of COVID, but there's no end to it really. But we were being safe. However, the one thing we did do is go to the Gaylord Nashville, Gaylord
Mm,
Opryland, and so because I had hotel points from like my Marriott card, and
yeah.
so she thinks that that's what life is that you can live there. And I mean, not that we lived there, we were there for like one night at a time. But like when we go on a trip or go to a hotel, she thinks that that's what's awaiting her is like an indoor water park with an outdoor with a big movie screen. And so my hotel bouginess has fallen down or has continued with my daughter, and it's just like our favorite thing ever. We could go to like a normal hotel and just spend the night and have the time of our lives.
You have really set the bar high for your daughter if she
I
thinks
have.
every hotel is going to be the Gaylord in Nashville. Although it is a really nice hotel.
It is. But what's cool about it though is that even when we go to smaller hotels, she finds the things like this one has a TV too.
Oh
Oh,
my
this
gosh.
hotel room has a tub just like that one. And her dream is to like be in a hotel with a balcony, which for some reason we haven't been to one with a balcony lately, but like if she could, she would live in like a high-rise hotel with a balcony. Like that's what her dream is.
Future Diamond Platinum member right there.
I was thinking, is there a hookup? Is there any jobs she can do? Should I send her to the elevator?
I don't know. In 2024, I don't think you can get away with sending your kid to go do manual work as an elevator button pusher.
Maybe with the mask and gloves and also me standing right next to her.
Correct. Correct. Well, let me see if I could put a good word in for her.
Thank you. Um, so it's been really, yeah, this is really helpful context for like, well, it's just answering questions of, who you are, why I felt like we vibed, right? which will be
Well,
provided.
going back to what you're saying, yeah, we met at learning HR tech conference,
Mhm.
and I have been to a lot of conferences, and your guys' booth by far captured my attention right off the bat. And yes, you did have a blow up dinosaur, but it was your beer pong that got me at 8 o'clock in the morning. And
Mhm.
your genuine like branding aligned completely with the ID Lance crew. Like that is what like lasered me right to your booth. And I mean, also the fact that we were playing beer pong at 8 o'clock in the morning. Nobody can be mad about
There
that.
was no beer in there, unfortunately. I don't want to give anybody the wrong idea. There was no liquid in there, which actually makes it harder because then there's nowhere to land. And so
You're
it's
right.
just, but it was good practice. And we got to see, like if somebody walked up and they had clearly played before, they stood really far back. But if someone was like, oh, new, like, oh, and they go right to the table. So it was kind of like, I know who you were in a previous life just by how they approached playing.
Hmm.
And that was really fun. Um, so I'm gonna ask some more not serious questions, but because I'm genuinely interested in like the worky bit, and then we were gonna get to the friendship bit, okay? Because I want to know, like, if you are giving some, because we're all about the day-to-day life, right? Of like managing stress, managing work, all that kind of stuff. Do you have any methods? And oh, also, actually, do you work from home or do you go to the office?
I work from home.
Awesome. So,
We don't have an office.
okay, yeah, no, we don't either. Um, because it's just cheaper not to. Although I'm wondering if like tax deductions are why people want to like make their people go back to the office because then they can write off like the office. I've thought about this recently. Um,
Hmm. Probably
well, I
that.
mean, somebody will comment and tell us
Yeah,
that or right.
I'm sure it's politics mostly.
But how do
Yeah.
you do a lot of different things? How do
Yes.
you sort of like manage all that, stay sane? Like, do you have any like time work-life management advice, skills? Because I need to learn some better skills, and you seem like you're able to do a lot.
Yes. Well, the quick answer I could just say is no, I don't have any advice. But I do because it is, and I should caveat because I recently had a similar conversation with a colleague of mine, and what she shared with me on how she stays sane and organized is so complete opposite of what would work for me. Um, but I'll share from my experiences. So I've been fully remote since 2020 when I moved into my new company. Um, and I'll tell you, for me, uh, it was a real struggle. And sometimes it still is a real struggle because I have typically either been in a leadership role where I'm being heavily relied on to go into an office, go into a hotel because people require my time for their day to be successful. Or I've gone into an office and maybe I was an individual contributor, but I was constantly surrounded by a network of people. My theme being here is that I don't do well alone. Maybe I have attachment issues. I don't know. But it was a real struggle for me to go into the remote space because in my mind, it was this, oh, I'm at home. Oh, look at this project. Oh, let me maximize and do the laundry. Let me do this, let me do that. And while you could do that every now and again, the problem for me was that I was constantly in a task deficit, right, at work. Then personally, I was in a task deficit because then my time was either 100% here or 100% in the working space. So that's not answering your question, but it did take me
It's
prob-
relatable. I have the
100%.
I have the same problem.
But now for me, because I have said to myself, yes, work is important. This work is important that I'm doing, but the work that I'm also doing with the ATD chapter, the work that I'm doing outside with some other volunteering efforts, like AARP, I'm a volunteer and a speaker with them. Like that's also important work for me. And so I actually have this, I guess it's a calendar, but this is sort of like this old school calendar. My dad used to use it all the time. And I don't really know what he was using it for because he was retired and he had no meetings, but he had always his like week calendar. And I do like the block calendar. And it is, and I have sort of assigned every day sort of a theme for that day.
Mhm.
So tomorrow it's prep for, I have speaking engagement next week with AARP, prepping for that.
How far in advance do you do this? Like,
Okay.
that's my issue is like, I'll think of it like 2 weeks before and then I get to it and I'm like, that's not realistic of what I can do this week. And then I don't think to do it sooner before.
So I kind of look at it. So I hear you. I will do this. I will do this a week before, but I know when I have bigger projects, right?
Yeah.
Or I have, whatever the case might be, I will block it out on my actual calendar, so not just on the piece of paper. So I'm seeing those reminders come through. What I have learned is also, maybe because I'm getting older and forgetful, is that I'll put a calendar, something on my calendar, and I will completely forget what the heck that is. So now for me, it's being as descriptive as possible. So that is how I've sort of been able to manage my priorities and then my time, and then be very, very prescriptive to say to myself, okay, this is a no checklist day. This is, I need to think, I need to read, I need to refuel, recharge, whatever that looks like. Normally for me, that's being outside, but it's and then I have those no checklist days too. And I have found, by being able to say and allowing myself, giving myself permission to not just do, but to think or to be, is that it actually helps me even more so with all the other stuff I have to do. I feel better. Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense. And I think that I'm almost getting there where you are. Almost. I'm almost there. Lately, or sometimes I'll be like, I just want to have days where I just be and I do whatever I want several days in a row. And sometimes I need those.
Yeah.
But I think that if I were to like think about it more ahead of time and know that, okay, on Thursday, I'm gonna get to do those things, then I'll like the rest of the days I can kind of accept I actually have to do this. Like I
Yeah.
actually have to do a worky thing, or I actually have to take my kid to do this thing and like not feel so like, oh my gosh, I'm running out of time, drowning in like the hourglass. Like sometimes I literally feel like I'm just kind of falling and drowning and out of control and I don't have time to do anything.
Yeah.
And then I end up doing nothing because I'm just standing there worrying about it.
Yeah.
But I think that planning it like that is something I need to get into. But thank you for that. That is super helpful.
There's
And
a
I want
way, there's a way to I have that same problem. There's something I recently read that if you have a checklist, a to-do list, right? Are you a checklist to-do list person so you get that gratification when you cross it off? And you write something on that checklist that would take you less than 5 minutes to do, stop writing your checklist and do that thing that's going to take 5 minutes to do.
Yep.
I have tried this a few times now. I'm not great at it because I can be a little bit all over the place, but I tried it and it is so fulfilling to say you've accomplished this one thing. And it actually ends up freeing up so much more time and energy, because now at the end of the day, you're not looking at your list and you're like, oh my gosh, I still have this entire ridiculous list. So,
That's cool. Look at us. We're solving life's problems.
I mean, basically, us and Edgar.
You just wait. Edgar might come up later.
Okay,
Okay, I'm gonna do one more. We're gonna get to the rubric real quick, real soon. But I
I'm
got one
excited.
more question. Actually, it's like a
Okay,
two question.
okay.
I know that you're so being involved in ATD is I want to start getting involved, but I have always kind of been a person that's like the minute I have an obligation or an expectation or something on me, I run away because I'm like, no more control of my time. However, I feel like being involved with something like that would kind of solve a couple things for me, human interaction, and also talking to people who are experiencing the same types of problems and projects and things that they actually like doing, and I could, like, be able to learn stuff and talk about it. But then the other side of me is like, "Oh my gosh, how am I gonna have time to do these meetings and stuff?" Convince me to join an ATD chapter.
Well, it's really quite simple. We have the best time hanging out, first of all. For somebody, l- I joined ATD 2015, 2016 when I realized that L&D was for me, and I had no idea where to start. I'm like, "Ooh, maybe I need to go back to school." Now, I didn't really like this whole school thing to begin with, so am I going to do that? And a
Mhm.
gentleman by the name of Ron, he was an expert facilitator. He was upskilling and then certifying me. I was to be a facilitator for Hilton, teach people about being happy in the workplace, which is so much fun. And he introduced me to ATD, and I paid for it. And then, like you, I was like, oh my God, there's so many things. I have to download and read all of these TD books. I have to read all these checklists. I have to get all these certifications. And it overwhelmed me to the point where I'm like, I don't even know why I paid all this money to be a member. And I don't know where I don't know where to begin. And then I joined the chapter. So I joined a chapter in Memphis first. And why I liked it so much is because what I quickly realized is that there's so many people in the same boat that have dabbled in the L&D space, but we all have a common interest. We all want to learn. We love to learn. And it doesn't matter what industry or what type of work you do in the L&D space, that's the common ground across all of our members. And so for you, I would say that especially the ATD CFL chapter, we do some really cool stuff. So it's not just like, let's listen to this boring webinar about, AI and its impact. AI, ever heard of it? Like there's a webinar for all of that. Uh, it's not just like that because we partner with other conferences. And I mean, admittedly, those are the highlights for me is when I get to like touch people, uh, you know, not in
Interesting.
a creepy way. I don't,
Interesting.
not in a creepy way, but being,
Consensual.
yeah,
Consensual.
in a consensual, like conference,
Professional.
conference hug type of way,
Yeah.
because you're, I mean, how refueled did you feel after the conference in April? Those interactions, those conversations, even, if you had a chance to actually go and listen to something, like you're sparking those ideas. And what's cool
Yeah.
about ATD specifically is that we volunteer and support so many conferences. So you're always getting that fuel right when you feel like you might need it.
Okay. I think I'm not just saying I'm convinced, but I actually think I am because I think it would solve, like you said, like a bunch of problems. Because when I was at the conference, the first 2 days, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so great. And then by the last one, I'm like tired. But if you're involved in stuff, it's not like I'm gonna, you're doing stuff 24 hours a day all the time. You go, you get refueled, just like you said, when you
Yeah,
need it. And yeah, I just need to do it. Yeah. And for
just do
everyone,
it.
we're
I'll
both
send you the link after we chat.
I was gonna tell everyone, I'm in Apopka, you're in the Tampa area, Tampa,
Hmm.
and we're both in
Safety
Florida.
Harbor.
Yeah. So we need to meet and discuss this. I can drive. I don't mind driving because I never leave my house. So give me a reason to drive,
Yeah,
please.
come on down.
Um, and then one more thing that I'm actually really interested in because you have such a different diverse background in this industry. What is like your absolute favorite thing to do that's related to it?
Compliance training.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Who doesn't love it? My fingers need a workout sometimes.
Oh man. No, compliance training is important. Otherwise, you click on the phishing emails, even though I still click on them because I think I might win a gift card. I don't know. What do I love about training? Like anything in the L&D space?
Yeah, like are there projects that you really like to work on or things you really like to lead? And then if it comes up while you're talking about what you like, if you could also share the worst training you've ever had, that would be fun too.
Uh, so I have, when I have been dedicated in the L&D space, like that was my primary function. I loved writing the talk tracks for facilitator presentation, so facilitator guides. And I don't have a background per se in writing, but I love doing it because the IDs have done a tremendous job putting the concept into play. And now it's the talent, the facilitator, right, that has to make that come to fruition. And so a lot of times I was a facilitator myself, so I would write obviously my own. I would prefer to write my own talk track, my facilitator guide. But if I wasn't and I was sharing that out, I absolutely loved that part of just a project. So I got to do that for quite a few Hilton projects. Um, my least favorite training, okay, I can't say that I hate compliance training.
Or it could be like even like the worst training experience you have had.
The worst training experience I have ever had. Um, I can't give you a specific program example, but I can tell you the times when I have walked into a training and there is no agenda, no objective, no reinforcement of what they're trying to teach. And it is just one-sided. It's just someone telling you what to do versus having a collaborative conversation. I tune out first 5 minutes, I'm done. But anytime I have not seen any sort of structure in like, here's what I'm going to learn, here's how you reinforce it, and at the end, have you now learned this? Like that is like learning 101. But you would be surprised how many times I've attended a training and I'm like, nope, they don't get it. This is so easy, but they don't get it.
That yeah. I I have a weirder answer maybe, and I wasn't gonna share this because I think I already shared this at one point before. So if you've heard this, people, if anybody is here, it's just bear with me. But I wanted to tell you because I think you would appreciate this. When I was in college, there was a summer that I worked at a hospital because my sister is like the director of IT or was a director at the time. Now she's look at me, I'm a vice president. No, just kidding. Good job, Jen. Love
Way to
you.
go, Jen.
It's really good. Like she's like got a really crazy important job. Like the tags that go on wrists of babies when they're born and stuff.
Oh, that's no joke.
Yeah, it's legit. But anyway, she helped me get a job calling people for their appointments before their appointment, but it was called pre-registration and you'd have to call somebody. And if they had an appointment every month, you had to call them every month. And they would, and eventually after like the fifth one, they were like, why my address is still the same. My insurance, stop calling me. And they'd be like, get a real job. So like that happened. I got yelled at a lot by people. But my training involved sitting in a big room and watching a video called It Only Takes a Second to Be Safe. And it was a video of like horrific accidents and not just workplace accidents. Like it wasn't like in a hospital, there are needles. It was like, look at this guy in like shop class in a high school and he's not wearing goggles and he's hitting this metal and it's like going into his face. Or this lady is driving with a hot pizza on the dashboard and then stops and then the hot pizza goes in her face. So it was like completely irrelevant to anything that I had to do, but I also kind of loved it. But I was also angry that I had to like sit in a big room about stuff that had nothing to do with me getting yelled at on the phone. But you can still, if anybody's interested, you can still find this video on YouTube. It only takes a second to be safe. And
I'm gonna
the
watch it.
music is great. There's like a guy, and it's all very, it's like, infomercial accidents, like, like it's like that for like 30 minutes.
Okay.
Just non
I
nonsense.
didn't I didn't know where you're gonna go with this. I thought that maybe you didn't like it, but now strangely, I really want to watch it.
Yeah, it's weird because it started out as me being annoyed about like wasting my time, but now that I think about it, I think maybe that actually might be the reason I'm in instructional design.
Maybe.
Because it's making like I was really always fascinated by training videos. Don't get me started on the Burger King training videos. Have you seen those?
I have seen highlights of some.
Chili, or
Oh,
no, and then Wendy's too. There's a chili can be served with cheese song. It's so good.
okay, I'm learning so many things today. The sexual harassment training videos from the 90s, those are really like my top 10, like of Academy Award winning performances. And then
Absolutely.
also like really, oh my gosh.
So good.
Yeah.
And this is also a little bit of a sales pitch as to why, if I think we should be friends, you would want to accept. Just so you know,
Okay.
I would know some funny things that I could
Okay.
bring to our relationship.
I'm
But
feeling good about it, but I'm still waiting to see if I pass the test.
okay, we're doing it right now.
Okay.
I'm going to share my screen. I'm closing any window about how I messed up the live stream and people telling me they in text messages that it wasn't working, so nobody can embarrass me. Don't want to accidentally share bad stuff. Okay. Uh, let's go here.
Now, if you're going to ask me anything about Edgar, I don't know
Uh-huh.
if we can be friends because I think he's a zombie, but that's the extent of what I know. No, he's not a zombie. That's not a thing.
Okay.
That is your husband?
Um, what?
I don't know.
What?
I don't know.
If there's one thing I will say about my husband, he is more attractive than Edgar.
Well, I would hope so, but this is a judge-free zone. I'm I'm just trying to proactively anticipate whatever question that you might ask me. And I feel like there's been an Easter egg in front of me this entire time. And I'm nervous. So, okay.
All right. You know what? I'm not going to share my screen because I don't want to give you any hints.
Okay.
I'm gonna listen. Okay. Are you ready? This is
I,
friend
I'm ready.
portion asking for a
Okay.
friend.
I'm ready. Here we go.
Well, number one, then, relevant to what we were just talking about.
Okay.
What is your favorite Vincent D'Onofrio movie?
Oh gosh, there's just so many to choose from. And if I had to just pick one, it was his latest one, honestly. Just the way that he performed and the character development through the course of the movie, spot on. Next question.
All right. 1 point.
I have no idea who that is. Is it Edgar?
Yes, it is the actor who plays Edgar, which is a bug in Men in Black.
Oh gosh, you know what? That's where I know him from.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
That's
in
fine.
fairness, you told me you're going to ask me questions and I was prepared and now you have flipped the script on me. Okay, I see your angle, Andrea. I got you.
Okay. Second, how do you
Okay.
feel about mint chocolate chip ice cream?
Mint chocolate chip ice cream. Is it in a cup or a cone?
It shouldn't matter. The answer shouldn't matter.
Okay, well, either way, I'm on board with it. I like mint and I like chocolate and I
Okay.
like chips.
It's not looking good.
Oh my gosh.
Not looking
Okay.
good.
All right. Oh shoot,
Okay.
I'm so nervous. Okay.
Okay. Lifetime or Hallmark movies? Which one do you like
Oh
better?
gosh, can I say neither? But if I have to pick one, ooh, I'm gonna pick Hallmark because
I'm gonna,
Lifetime recently had all these kerfuffles and drama with Lori and the college or whatever. She was on Lifetime movies. No, she was on Hallmark. I'm gonna say Lifetime. I'm gonna say
okay,
Lifetime.
I'm gonna score that as indifferent, and I'll give you 2 points.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, are there right
Whew.
answers to these questions?
I mean, there's a.
Okay, so is it Lifetime or is it Hallmark?
I will tell you at the end.
Okay. All right.
Okay. What is the greatest sports injustice that has occurred in recent times?
What was the question?
What is the greatest injustice in sports that has occurred in recent times?
Oh, the rate parity between women basketball, right? And men basketball.
Okay, I'm gonna give you full points for that, but that's not the answer, but I'll tell you after.
Okay.
That's a good answer.
Thank you.
That was way more highbrow than what I was thinking. Okay,
Okay.
what's your take on water parks?
Well, I'm not gonna lie, I'm all for them. I think
Yes.
they're a good time.
Okay, That's full points. I mean, I'll tell you
Yes.
the other ones, but I need to tell you when you do well so you still have motivation.
Thank you. I do need that positive reinforcement.
How do you drink coffee?
Out of a cup. But I normally just drink it black with a little bit of splash of milk.
Okay.
I have recently started purchasing Starbucks cups so that when I'm at home and I want to feel like I bought something, I just put my cheap coffee in my fancy cup. I don't do that. You do that. I just felt like I needed to relate to you.
This isn't a Starbucks. Are you making fun of me right now?
No, I
Zero
don't
point. No,
know. Shoot. No, that's how I
you
drink my
got full
coffee.
points. You got full points. It's okay.
Thanks. Thanks.
Your attempt to bond has given you full points for that line
Thank you.
item.
Thank you.
Okay. Describe Neil Diamond in 3 words.
Okay. Singer, alive, old. Maybe alive.
I don't know how to score this one. Okay. Ugh, I'm giving you 2 points out of that one. Okay, I really want to share my screen, but it's saying I need to open some sort of
I'm nervous for you.
open
It took
system
it took
password.
you 8 minutes to figure out LinkedIn Live. I don't know how long share screen's gonna take you.
Okay, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Okay, I'm modifying my settings so that Zoom can share my screen later. Okay, I almost quit and reopened. That's not gonna happen. So I'm not sharing it right now.
Okay.
How about what if I take a picture
Okay.
and I don't know how this it's not gonna work.
I guess the question is, did I pass? I don't think
The
so.
question
It
is,
doesn't look
okay,
promising.
so you've got okay, so for the Vincent D'Onofrio movie, you got 1 point because you don't know who he is, right? The
Thank you.
correct answer is naming a favorite movie and discussing it, or you get bonus points if you mention Law and Order Criminal Intent. You didn't, that's okay. Let's move on. Second one, mint chocolate chip ice cream. The only neutral would have been 2 points. Hating it and considering it an abomination would have gotten you the most points.
Well, how many points could I get total for each question?
Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
You've only given me 2 points for like genuinely good answers. Listen, can I
I have a rubric, which is why I wanted to share it. I will share this in the comments
you
after.
should.
I
You
wonder if
should.
I can share it. Are you allowed to share? No, I can't share
I
photos.
I bet you there's a lot of people watching right now feeling like this is an injustice to me
I didn't say we
because
can't be friends. I'm about to tell you your score.
oh, okay. Sorry. I was ready to get all South Florida on you. Okay.
Chill. Chill. Okay, Lifetime Hallmark movies. The correct answer was loving both or loving one more than the other, and you were able to talk about why. I gave you 2 points for indifferent. Um, yeah. And greatest sports injustice, you still got full points because your answer is actually very true. But the answer I have in my rubric is Joey Chestnut, who is the hot dog eating champion, being banned from the Nathan's hot dog contest for his partnership with Impossible Meats.
Oh my gosh. That was gonna be my next answer.
Okay, water parks, you got full points.
Thanks.
Coffee, honestly, I'm giving you full points because of your attempt to bond over making fun of me using a cup. It's a compostable cup, okay? I'm not
Oh,
just buying plastic. This will go in the compost, but it makes me feel like I spent $8. But I didn't. The Neil Diamond question, you said 3 words, but they were kind of neutral words. Full points would have been 3 or more positive words, such as iconic, legendary, soulful, delightful.
okay. Those are 4 words.
I know, I'm just giving examples. Those are
Got it.
it could.
Got it.
So overall, you only got the lowest score on 2 of them. So I would
Okay.
say that you probably, without me, don't put pressure on me to do math. But I'm going to say you got a 75%. So
Okay. Is that passing?
I would say passing,
Okay.
honestly, in this economy, it's
We
50.
could be more than just LinkedIn friends. We could
We can
maybe
be
be
more than just,
Facebook friends.
yeah, maybe Facebook, Instagram, you and Insta. Maybe
Yeah,
every
but
so often I'll send you
I
a
don't get
reel.
it. Yeah, send me a reel. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love it.
No, we can be full friends because, again, the previous context that you shared in our prior conversation in this meeting, it has elevated your score. I would say your style points bring you to like a 95 out of
Yes.
100.
It's the highest grade I've ever gotten in my life. This is a big day for me.
Excellent. So you've heard it here. Me and I'm gonna say your name and I'm gonna get it wrong. Me, Amanda Deflut,
Perfect.
and I are officially friends. And I'm not saying every future episode is going to have such a positive outcome, but I sure hope for it because that would be nice.
Yeah.
Is there anything you would like to share or say about this decision?
One, I am excited to continue our friendship or start our friendship now, but also thank you for having me on Asking for a Friend. I'm excited to see what ID Lance does with this, with future episodes.
I'm just gonna
And
rewatch this every night before I go to sleep. That's what we're doing
it's
with it.
basically better than any Friends rerun you will ever see or Lifetime movie. But yes, thank you. Oh, oop, I've gone too far.
I'm gonna knock it to 93 points.
I'm good with it.
All
I'm
right,
good
it's still
with it.
passing. But thank you for joining me. Sorry for the technical difficulties. What happened if you're watching now and you couldn't watch the very beginning is it went live without clicking go live and then it stopped on its own. And that really wasn't anything that we could do anything about. But we figured it out. And even if this is at a different link, we'll make sure that this gets shared out. And Amanda, I'll make sure you have a link in case you also want to watch it. We can FaceTime and watch it and eat popcorn together.
I'm in it. I'm in it. Yeah, I'm all for it.
Cool. All
Awesome.
right. Well, thank you. I'm going to end the stream now. And here we go. Ending. Are you sure you want to end your live stream? Yes. Bye.
Bye. Peace out.